Sorry.
Hi, I'm Nalie and welcome to the Nalie Show. Stay positive. Look at the bright side. Find your silver lining. How many times has anyone given you that advice when you're going through adversity? I, for one, am someone who does give that advice. I think it's so important to see the beauty in everything. Today, I am waiting for Shaini. Shaini is the sweetest girl I have never met. That's not true. We finally met for the first time at the CIBC Run for the Cure when she joined Team Nalie. But before that, we've always had a virtual relationship. This girl's mad talented. She's really good at makeup. She works at Sephora. She makes custom sweet tables. And she just so happens to be a national young leader for the visually impaired. That's right. Shaini is slowly losing her vision. I have goosebumps telling you that. Imagine knowing that you won't be able to see, preparing yourself for that. Despite how crazy that sounds, Shaini has remained so positive, and she is using that to inspire so many other people like her or who have all kinds of disabilities to embrace their disability and find the beauty out of it and help others. How does she do that? I have no idea. That's what we're gonna find out. I'm impatient. I can't wait to sit and speak with her in person finally. We'll be chatting with you soon. What would you like to drink? A glass of wine. Like, what's happening right now? Like, what's RP? Well, when were you diagnosed, and like, what's happening to your vision right now?
So I was diagnosed at 21. I'm 26 now. I literally went for a regular eye checkup, and the doctor insisted that all his patients should get a picture of the retina done. So he took a picture of my retina, and he noticed that he saw little black pigments, so little birthmark-like pigments on my retina. So he said, okay, Shaini, I'm gonna show you a pen and tell me when you see it. I said, okay, cool. Like, how hard can it be? So he was showing me the pen, and I was like, okay, when are you gonna start? He's like, I already started. Literally saw the pen, was right in front of my, like literally like this close to my face. And he said, okay, well, I think you have something called retinitis pigmentosa. But he's like, I can't officially diagnose you, so I'm gonna have you see an ophthalmologist. Okay, and he said the next few months are just gonna be me doing tests and running from one doctor to another to make sure.
Yeah.
I said, okay. And funny enough, that same day I had my permit test. I still went. Passed, but like later on I found out I can't drive. When I first got diagnosed, it's not like I thought I had symptoms, but after you get diagnosed, you kind of look back and you think like, oh, that makes sense. So when we were trick-or-treating, no wonder I kept tripping over the sidewalk. Or like, to me it was, oh, it's dark out. What human can see in the dark? You know,
who can see in the
dark.
So you think this is something that's been happening since you were a kid?
Yes, you're born with it.
You're born with it.
And just every single person that has RP is different.
Okay.
No one case is the same. That's why it's kind of hard to spot.
How do you see right now?
So if I look at you, I can see like the corner of your computer. So that's, I see your entire body, I see the corner of the computer. I believe normally sighted people, you should be, if you look straight, you should be able to see like your shoulder.
What else are you technically limited to?
I don't have depth perception, so I hate stairs with a passion. I can go up the stairs.
Oh my god, I feel so bad now! There's a shitload of stairs to come up to my condo, and she's like walking up these stairs. So what's happening now? Like, what's going to happen with your vision? Is it for sure that it's going to get worse? Are you?
It is, but you can't really put a timeline on it. But since I am almost 27 now, and I'm still able to be mobile on my own, I'm still able to do things, it's very likely that like I will be stable at this stage for a couple like more years. It might be a decade, might be 20 years, but like it really depends on how you feed your body also. There is no cure, there is no treatment, so it's basically just, I guess you can call it self-healing.
Many people understand that. Like, I don't know, did you know any of this? I had no no clue about RP, and I didn't really understand what it meant. And I think that's the same thing on social media. We read all these comments where everyone's like, oh, are you really blind? Like, what do you mean? What's the worst thing that you've ever heard from anyone?
In the beginning, it was kind of hard. Like, I get people who direct message me saying like, oh, you're lying that you're blind. How are you blind if you're able to be on social media, or if you're able to put on makeup? Social media and the media portrays a blind person as one way, as being completely blind.
Yes.
It's black or white. It's either you see properly,
Exactly.
you wear glasses, or you don't see at all. For me, like, it put my life in perspective. Like, no pun intended, but like, it like like made me realize like there's so much to see.
Yes.
And for me, there's so much to show people.
I think we all go through darkness. My darkness was my cancer. Her darkness is RP. You might be going through something that makes you feel lost and ashamed. Maybe you have a disability. Well, here are 3 tips by Shaini to see the bright side in the dark. Let's do this. Number 1.
Number 1 is quite important because it is like the stepping foundation to everything, and it's loving yourself. Whether it be with breast cancer, RP, or depression, the moment you get diagnosed, you tend to question yourself and kind of put yourself in like a hole, and like put yourself down. And a lot of the times we haven't shared this piece of information with a lot of people, so reading other people's story to like get motivation, whether it be they have RP or cancer or anything, just to see how one took their struggle and made it their own, like made it their success. Doing that, I built up the confidence to be like, no, you're fine. Like, you're perfectly fine. Like, yes, you have one setback, but that one setback is gonna help you move forward like maybe 5 steps and do things that you never thought you'd be able to do. I accept it. I love it. I'm not gonna love that I have RP, but I love
yourself.
I love myself, and I love what comes with what I do. Once you love yourself, you attract so many good things and good people, and it's a great feeling.
I think what's key in what you said is everything that you mentioned on how to love yourself is to take action.
Yeah.
Like, find other people that inspire you, find other inspiring stories, instead of just like sitting back and crying and complaining. Like, do something about it, whether it's meditating or writing all the positive things that happen or all the positive outcomes from this negative situation. Write it down. Just do something about it.
And number 2, it would be to find the reason in everything. I'm such a strong believer that everything happens for a reason.
Yeah, it's true. I find that like everyone's like, that's so cheesy, but it's true.
But it's crazy because you don't notice it at the time, and then something else happens maybe like 2 weeks later, a year later, or 2 years later, and you're like, oh my god, like, had this not happened, I would have not done this. I constantly remind myself like, no, there's a silver lining or something why this had to happen.
Yeah.
It can be not getting the job that you thought you were gonna get.
Yes.
And it could be like a huge thing, but like later on, you might find out like, hey, this happened because maybe I was supposed to end up here.
For sure. Like I say it all the time, if it wasn't for my cancer, I wouldn't have met you. I wouldn't have met you. This Nalie show wouldn't have existed. There's always like, it's a blessing in disguise. There's so much beauty that comes out of it. But like, again, it's about being active and thinking. Like you said it yourself, find the reason.
And when you do figure out, it's like a light bulb just went off in your head, and you're like, yes. Seriously though? It's like, yes, okay, so this happened because this had to be done, you know?
And I think what's important of your point number 2 is that you're like, find the reason. And the reason why you should find the reason is because we're always questioning as well, like, why is this happening to me? Why me? Why me? Like, why was I diagnosed with cancer? Why were you diagnosed with RP? There's millions and billions of people out there in the world. Why is this happening to me? What did I do to deserve this? Well, we always ask that question, but instead of trying to focus on the answer that we'll never be able to have, that's why you're already thinking that anyways. Just flip the perspective and try to really ask yourself, oh, what's the reason behind all of this? And let that guide you.
Point number 3, to own your disability. That comes in like order of loving yourself and being confident with yourself, then figuring out the reason why you were diagnosed, and then to be able to own it. I remember initially I started doing all these things to kind of hide that I had a visual impairment because people would be like, oh, she does all these things, there's no way she's visually impaired. But now I do it and I'm like, no, like I can do everything despite what it is. Before, like when I apply for jobs, I never click the disability button. And like now I own it. And even when I go into an interview, like I'll bring it into my interview. And I tell them like, I'm a problem solver and it's because of me having RP. So use it to your advantage, own it, and like let people know that like people love when you walk into a room and they see that confidence.
Yeah.
And then people around you become less awkward about the situation
people
too.
Sense that. You sense when someone's uncomfortable. And because you're uncomfortable, it makes other people uncomfortable. Then you're like, oh, why is that person acting like that with me? Oh, he's judging me. But then it's all energy at the end of the day.
Body language is everything.
Own it. Own it. So those were really, really good tips. Thank you. 3 ways to find the bright side in the dark. One last question. What is the most beautiful thing you've ever seen in your life?
My first vision quest, and I was speaking to a mom and her husband, like a mom and her son, and he had RP, but his RP was a little more rapid.
Okay.
So like the mom was just asking like, oh, what do you do? So the son was there, and I was talking to him about my job and what I do, and he looked up to me and said, oh, so I can have a job? And that to me was like, this is what I'm doing. So to me that was like a beautiful like reminder. And I was just like, whoa.
We have a question for you in the comment section below. We challenge you to admit what's your darkness, what's your disability if you have one, what's something that
you felt like was holding you back.
Yes, as simple as that. And if you want to follow Shaini's journey, or if you want to get in touch with her, her information is right here. Down there. If you thought this video was inspiring and helpful, give it a thumbs up. It's gonna help me know what exactly you want to listen to. Watch the vlogs up there. Old episodes of the Nalie Show down there. And more importantly, subscribe, because I'll be releasing videos every Monday. Your Monday morning kick in the butt. So subscribe. Do it. Do it. Do it. Do it. Do it. Alright? Be patient, be kind to yourself.
Be positive, be yourself, and keep on shining.
Keep on shining by shining. Cheers! Your blind jokes are on point. Like you've been here for like half an hour and you popped like 10 blind jokes.